welcome to another weekend here on the platform. My name is Sam Omashe. I have a special guest today. He's none other than the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel.
This past week saw not just governors and the president marking their anniversaries. Children had their hurrah 2 days earlier on May the 27th. But an untold story needs an airing for its imagination in leadership, and the credit goes to the governor of Sokoto State, Aminu. For some time, he has scored for the girl child by bribing them out of street trading. He undertook a research and found how much the children made for their parents each month from their little commerce. He decided to pay the parents the money so the children could head for the classrooms. It has worked for the most part. He put money in their parents' pockets so as to bring light in their daughters' heads. What a trade-off instead of a trade. What a trade-in for the future. He has liberated the girls from the streets into the four walls of a classroom, into the world of the mind. Away from anouks and knights, away from early and premature wedlock, away from doctrinaire parents, away from rapes and abuses, away from sun and rain. This is the sort of action of change that does not stir resentment or victimhood. Rather, it engenders gratitude. It is a triumph for imagination.
We've done what could be described as entrepreneurial. I mean, this has been, for a large part, a civil service state.
Absolutely.
And now you have brought a lot of entrepreneurial energy into the proceedings. The question is, when you leave, how can we guarantee sustainability? Because enterprises are believed to be private-oriented, not government.
Brother Sam, if you remember our Management 101,
Yeah.
they taught us what they call 7 A's of management, one of which is what we call shared values, culture. Let me take, for example, the Udom Air that we just mentioned. We are trying to put a culture in place that even if the next administration comes, you can't break that culture. It's one of the most difficult things to break. It's culture. And if you see, when people are comparing Africans, they keep talking about culture. In management, it's what we call shared values. It will be extremely to break. And that's why I made a promise to my people. We are adding 2 brand new Airbus 220-300 series on a wait list, at least to service Lagos, Abuja, then Abuja, Uyo, trying to test the market. Because when you're talking about in terms of aviation business, the latest in aircraft manufacturing is A220. That's why you are finding an Airbus in Canada. That wasn't the original. I don't want to go into that now in this short time that we have. When you talk to me specifically about aviation development, I'll take you on that. So it will be extremely difficult because you see, we are looking at a total approach. It's not just about the airline, the aircraft. You can see we are doing what we call full aviation development. From the airport, if you get to our airport, see where we came in from in 2015, and then compared to the airport you're seeing today, you know that we are going somewhere. Then look at our terminal building. I bet my certificate on it. If when we finish, you have a terminal building in West Africa. You know me, I'm not used to boasting. I would have said in the whole of Africa. You have a terminal building in West Africa that is smarter. Mind my word. You know what is selling this there on global space is smart. Yeah, everything is smart. You have a terminal building that is smarter than what we are putting up at airport in Uyo. Brother Sam, I'll break that one and build another one immediately. I'll build it and build another one to conform to the one, but I just want to guarantee you that you can't find. So it's a global, it's a total approach, it's a total concept. So we are doing fully what we call aviation development, from the terminal building to the fuel dump, to the taxiway, then to the airline. And then we build. And now from there we go into what I call the training school for man capacity development. So we develop what we call aviation training, institute, where we also develop manpower capacity. We must be known for something. And I believe we can get it there. And we can also get it done. So whether next administration comes in or not, it will be very difficult to break the culture of Udom Air. And before we get to that point, we would have gotten at least the number of aircraft that can make them generate enough revenue for them not to rely on government. Because the essence of setting up this business is not to rely on government, but rather to help create employment for our people, if not for any other thing, break even. Let them break even. At least we would have benefited economically. Mind you, what they eat inside that aircraft is from Akwa Ibom. Yeah. Even the water they drink in that aircraft, the water factory is in Akwa Ibom. So whatsoever, so many things, the costumes, everything there. If you look at, the entire complete value chain of what we are providing in terms of aviation development, is a whole lot, and it helps stimulate the economy of the whole state. So that's what we are looking at. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation. I mean, I want to leave at that, but also be rest assured, Akwa Ibom had always been lucky with who sits on this seat. I can bet it. God will give us somebody that will sit after me, that will also be entrepreneurial in approach.
Almost as if you knew where I was going to.
We'll be entrepreneurial in approach. We'll be very, very entrepreneurial in approach. Because, Brother Sam, you see, let me say something here. I like to copy things that help any economy. Brother Sam, let's get back. When we were in secondary school, we used to wear playtime sandals to school.
Yes.
Cortina.
Yes.
All those things were made in Nigeria. They were made by either Bata or Leonards.
Yes.
Then if you remember very well, when we were quite young, if you are in secondary school, you want to iron, and your iron is not working well, your colleagues will yab you that it's a barmaid. It's a barmaid.
Yes.
And at the same time, if they say it's not a barmaid, if you say you didn't buy it in Nigeria, they say it's Taiwan.
Taiwan, yes.
What we used to call Taiwan is those people now you are calling Asian tigers.
Exactly.
Today, where is Lena? Where is Bata? Where are those Cortina playtime shoes that we used to wear to school? Philips. The iron we were using in secondary school then were manufactured by Philips. Philips was at Ajota in Lagos. So we had our own, even though generally everywhere in Nigeria at that time they were saying Aba made, but we understood what that meant. That meant that it was locally made in Nigeria, or compared to what was made in Far East, then we used to call it Taiwan. Yes. There was no difference between whether it was China. Did we know the difference? No. Anything coming from that side, we used to call it made in Taiwan. But they kept faith. Why? Because look at China. They had a population of over 1 billion people. And they had no choice. They must look for food for them to eat. They must provide a whole lot of things for them. So that propelled them to have a whole lot of backward integration that now made a complete jump. In domestic economy. So what were they doing? They first of all had to satisfy their domestic economy. Produce what we can consume. You can't beat that. Immediately you meet your domestic consumption, the surplus will always go on an export. Yeah. And there's no how you won't have a strong economy. Brother, I don't have time to go into this. Yeah. I try to break these economic principles into what anybody listening to me could understand. Yeah. But if I were to do proper economics, these are not the terms I will use, but I'm trying to break it down in a very simplistic approach so that anybody listening to me will really understand. And that takes us back to who should, from 2023, who should Nigeria look out for as a president? Nigeria must look out for somebody who is entrepreneurial in approach, somebody who will be more interested in the economy. Because you see, let's forget it. If we have a very strong economy, fewer people will be interested in politics.
And violence.
Absolutely. That one will completely be out. How will you create violence? Where will you even see the people to create the violence? They will be very busy.
Yes.
By the time they leave for work in the morning, when they are back at 5, 6, they are tired. And tomorrow they have other assignments they need to complete. Some of them, these days, there's a whole lot on keyboard skills. A whole lot of them will be bringing back work home in their laptop. So they will be cracking their brains. I entered a factory in Vienna at a time. I discovered even the people in their research department, Brother Sam, not even one had gone to university. At most, they stop at the intermediate. But those were the people who were on the system, designing and redesigning, thinking of the processes, simplifying the processes, trying to change what they used to do
That's
before.
the technicians.
Absolutely.
The technicians of progress.
So, so by the time we have a president who will, from 2020, will be looking into the economy of the country, will build a whole lot. See, give Nigerians right policies, friendly business environment, and the ease of doing business. Nigerians can be creative.
Does it mean that is what you are looking to for your successor?
In Akwa Ibom?
Yes.
Oh, sure.
You're looking for somebody with entrepreneurial instinct.
Sure. We need it because you see, we need to build the economy of the state.
Have you seen such person yet?
Brother Sam, it's only God. You see, there's something people don't know. That people like us, we don't venture into something that is not in our own area.
Yeah.
When we were much younger, they taught us the Lord's Prayer. That Jesus Christ said, when you want to pray, pray in this manner. Get me right. Pray in this manner. And have you studied the concluding part of it? He said, for thine, not man, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. So those things God don't share with anybody. He said from generation to generation, he has dominion over.
Yeah.
So all power belongs to God. Brother Sam, I don't go to an area that does not belong to me. When it comes to issue of power, as a governor, I don't have power to make another person a governor. It's only God who has the power to make somebody a governor.
But God can use you.
Absolutely. I'm ready to be used by
God. Are you
God.
sure God is not using you already to pick somebody?
He will use me when time comes.
He
It's
has
not
not
yet time
told
for
you
elections.
yet?
No, it's not yet time.
It's very close.
No, Brother Sam, we are still 2 years far ahead.
It's not that far.
No, we're in midterm.
Yeah.
You can't use midterm.
No, it's midterm of your
Mid-second term. I know,
Yeah.
that's why I said we are in mid of the second term. You see, the problem we're having in Africa, we spend so much time on elections and spend very little time on governance. And it shouldn't be. So the way people like us play politics, there must be a paradigm shift. We have to, reject the systems to make it work. So if I'm bogged down now by the politics of success, I'll be distracted. I'll be distracted. So that's why you could see me, of course, you followed me on some project inspections yesterday. You could see that our focus is so much on those projects we deliver that have core economic value, that can generate employment, stimulate the economy of the state. You hardly will hear us, fine, you might see that when we are going on those project commissioning, the whole community is there. It's as if we are going on campaign. The answer is no. It's because those communities appreciate those projects that we put in those communities. I said these things are interwoven. We take it from education to health, to other economic activities, to social development, to soft infrastructure, to hard infrastructure, and to the likes. So it's a whole lot. It's a global chain that we're trying to build on. So if you ask me about that now, brother, I might not be able to answer you on that too, because the owner of the power knows who he will give the power to, not me. But if he wants to use me, I'm free to be used to also help who will take over from me. Yeah. But he might decide to use anybody. He might decide to use anybody.
Are you sure you will not use another party?
I don't pray he should. I don't pray he should. Because you see, Brother Sam, Nigerians can give a testimony now. It's not from me, but Nigerians can give a testimony. They've tested two parties. They can tell us which there was a party that came into power. All the indices were positive. High. Another party came into power. All the indices were heading downward. So if you want to vote again, which party will you vote for? There was a party, by the time we debased the economy, we had the largest economy in Africa. Everything was high. Everything was up there. Our per capita, everything, GDP, everything was just up there. And I don't think Akwa Ibom is in a haste to change the winning team. We've tested, we've trusted, and I think we have the confidence and that a platform that can produce the right people. I wouldn't say it's a party, a platform that can produce the right people to give the right governance to the people of Akwa Ibom. It's that platform they call PDP, the largest party in Africa, a big umbrella that can accommodate everybody. And you see, it's the party with I'm telling you, with a whole lot of humane, interpersonal relationships when it comes to that. It's a party that you see a whole lot of humility. You can't find out so much arrogance in PDP, at least in a Bible I can talk for. You won't find so much. No, you don't. No, you won't find that at all. Nobody knows it all. Nobody knows it all. We work like a family. Everybody matters. Yeah, everybody. Everybody matters in our party. Everybody is important. There's nobody we treat with, no, not at all. I mean, for the fact that you are a leader, you're just leading among equals. That's the way we see it. It's just a privilege for you to lead people. Any other person could lead. So that makes us humble. There's nothing that humbles a man than that kind of privilege. It's called the grace of God. It's called the mercies of God.
Yeah. let's go to regional politics.
Okay.
We've had Amotekun, we've had the one in the southeast, the Lion. The South has not come up with one yet. What is going on? You're one of the leaders.
Brother Sam, I want to find out. It's not the name at this point. You see, a rat and a lizard.
No, it's not even the name.
No,
the infrastructure.
A rat and a lizard. They might be running towards the same direction, but they run two different races. See, different style, different speed, but they might be going towards the same direction. So the style might not necessarily be the same across the country, because you see, you are also dealing with people who are a little bit organized. Who are these people you're dealing with? You are trying to reduce crime. They are very organized too. So it's not necessary that we must all adopt the same style, or we must all adopt the same pattern and so on. So we meet often as regional body of the South. We meet very often. And you know, our challenges in terms of security, they are similar. So we discuss few things that we want to do. And unfortunately, when it comes to security, I'm not allowed to speak elaborately on air. Things of security is best known to the chief security officers and all other, agencies that we partner with and collaborate with to actually work on that. Spare me not to say so much, or probably we also allow the chairman of the South Governors Forum to break issues. You know what they call what people call breaking news. Breaking news shouldn't come from any other person. If we made him the chairman of the South Governors Forum, I yield the floor to him to talk on those issues. And let me be behind to support him. If I do that, it will seem as if I've flouted the normal structures and systems that have been put in place. Yeah.
Well, you guys also met the Southern governors on the state of the nation. You guys came out with a number of resolutions.
Yes.
The issue of open grazing, and then the most interesting one was the issue of restructuring. Some people have said that what went out of it was not in the interest of the nation. Some people came out from whether it was the Senate president, whether it was a faction of Yetiala and some others. What is your own reaction to the reaction to your statement? Did you think that this kind of surge of negativity was expected?
Thank you, Brother Sam. You see, we are a very organized body, and these are very responsible leaders. And we came together, called ourselves Southern Governors Forum. We issued a communique.
Yeah.
Brother Sam, it's extremely not practicable in the world that whatever you communicate, the level of understanding will be the same across the board. So you give chance to the fact that not everybody will have a clear understanding of what you communicate. That's number one. Then number two, it's a well-structured body. We have a leader, and I think our leader has responded to that. For the fact that he has spoken, I can only say, Brother Sam, that as a governor of the southern country, I stand with all my colleagues on the communique issue. That's number one. Then number two, the response given by our pro tem chairman
Yeah.
is acceptable by all of us. So there are any there. So that I don't say something that will contradict or will seem as if we are not together. We are together. So whatsoever our chairman comes to speak has the backing of all of us. And that communique is what binds all of us.
The other thing I wanted to say too is that some people have said the southern governors took so long to respond because there was some kind of deference to the center, and that maybe the governors are beginning to find their mojo, so on and so forth. You should be able to respond to that.
Brother Sam, I thought you came to talk to me about Akwa Ibom, but you're still taking me so much to the center.
Yeah, a national figure.
I know. But Brother Sam, so much to say about
Yeah.
at the center.
Yeah.
But we also have to be very careful. You know, as a leader, there are certain comments you make. You can speak, but you cannot determine the responses by people.
Yeah.
So as a leader, in a situation we find ourselves now, it's a very interesting time. So you don't speak things that could erupt, disputes or issues somewhere. The issues right now is for us to try to calm things down
cool temper
in the country. I mean, we can't firm up any ember of any issue, right? Or we cannot fan
the embers of
it
division.
right now. So we as leaders, we try as much as practicable to say things that will rather help us stay together, things that will rather help us unite this country, things that will rather help us move forward, rather than, going back to issues of controversy and so on. I don't want to be caught in the middle of controversy, but I just want to say that as a country, fine, we need to move forward. That's all. That's my own advice. As a country, we must move forward. We have so many people who are looking up to us. A country of 200 million people, it's not a joke.
Not a joke.
So it's not a joke. So I think a whole lot will need to be done. So at this time, at this critical time in the country, it's not a time as a responsible leader for you to respond based on your emotions. Let me respond based on what I wish for my country. In this case, peace and prosperity. So anything I must speak now into this nation must border on peace and progress of Nigeria. So don't expect me to speak so much like an opposition. No, in that case, I don't want the fire.
Like an activist.
I don't want the fire to keep burning. There are certain things I will say now. Even when you hear me or you read it, you say, "Are you sure that's Udom? That's Governor Udom?" I mean, it might not be expected of me. So allow me to stay within that convenience. Of speaking peace, progress and prosperity into the country, and work towards achieving that. I think that will help everybody. It doesn't help me at all to say things that will, keep putting the knife into the... No, not at all. So I think I would like to take it in that direction.
That's it. Yeah. That's been a good conversation with the governor. We wish you a great 6th anniversary as you move on towards the next 2 years of your administration.
Thank you, Bro Sam. Thank you.
What about you is real, Leah? You became a woman under the gun, a mother after a smothering, a housewife while a student, a Hamlet habitué while you dreamed like your parents of inhabiting a city of lights. Your voice must be a chaff, a stranger to your voice box. Thank you for being on this show. You can join me on my column at www.atsamomashaye.com. And until next time, be good.